Welcome to The Favorites, presented by DraftKings. The crown is yours. We are an Action Network podcast. I'm Brandon Kravitz, back at it on this fine Tuesday morning. Kendra Middleton and the Prime Minister of Degenerate Nation, Stuckey, who is very much on the mend today, back for today's episode. We've got our Plant the Flag game for Week 14 after the bloodbath that was Week 13 for all of us. Our official Thursday Night Football preview, Cowboys-Lions, should be a good one. And of course, the main event, Evans Tuesday primer. Monday Night Football, kind of a snoozer. New England pulled away early on in this game. Do we actually feel like we know who this New England Patriots team is? They do have some impressive wins on the season, but we're talking about an 11-win team. It feels like every week they're beating up on the Giants of the world. And here you have Drake May, who, by the way, right now, odds-on favorite to win the NFL MVP at minus 135, has not thrown for 300 yards in a single game yet. I'm not taking away from his MVP candidacy in saying that. He has been hyper efficient. His long ball is top-notch in the NFL, and he runs the ball as well. I just wonder how many NFL MVPs at the quarterback position could go an entire season without throwing for 300 yards. It's a bizarre sort of year for New England. Kendra, you're in the market. Do you feel like you have a good read on exactly what this team is, or do you think there's still some fraud within them?
So I think I do know who this team is just from existing in this space this season. I think that they are not the most talented team, but I think we've talked about how we think they like each other, right? But I think that they're the type of team who is coached by Mike Vrabel to do the little things and to do the little things so well that they're perfect. That in combination with Drake May kind of elevating himself so highly this year, I think that that's what we're looking at, right? It's like they like each other. They got the luck out of Drake May and they're doing the little things and they're doing the little things hard. Like the physicality difference between the Giants and the Patriots last night is one of those, things that people consider little, but really make a huge difference down in and down out. So I think that that's who this New England Patriots team is. I think that they're going to continue with the strength of schedule they have to be able to do those things and do those things successfully. I do think at some point they will slip up and lose a weird game that they shouldn't. I think it'll maybe be I do think that they lose to the Bills. They have to, at kind of where the Bills need to be. And I think later in the year when you're beat up, your quarterback's been there season after season. They also play in cold weather, so there's no advantage there. I think that they lose that game, but maybe one other game that's just like a random slip up for them. But I do think that they make the postseason probably a first round exit depending on who they get, just because the talent discrepancy, like I said, is there. They like each other, they play hard, they do the things they are, do well. But that being said, I think that that's probably where they slip up, just because you can't avoid the talent discrepancy in the postseason in the NFL.
Very much bloated by an easy schedule throughout the course of the season. But Stuckey, have you seen enough consistency from them where you feel like when it actually matters, this team is clearly going to be in a prime position heading into the playoffs? Are they going to be a team that you believe in when we've got lines coming out with the Patriots against teams like the Bills, like potentially a Kansas City Chiefs or an LA Chargers, where you're in that do or die situation? Patriots probably going to be favored. Are we getting to the point where we trust them in those situations, or are they going to be like last year's Minnesota team where the record doesn't necessarily tell the story of who they really are?
Yeah, I mean, they're obviously not as good as their record, but I mean, they've benefited from one of the easiest schedules in the NFL. I mean, look at the defenses they faced. They've also won some close games. You look back at that Falcons game that could have went either way. And then they've had a couple games at home that just flipped on special teams. Like the Giants were like minus 17 in the first half on special teams. They gave up a punt return for a touchdown. Although you have to give credit to Marcus Jones. He's an electric punt returner. And like Kendra said, the Patriots do all those little things right. And I think Vrabel's very good in game, which gives them a little edge as far as in-game management. But I mean, last night it was a punt return for a touchdown. A dropped fumbled kick return, and then Younghoe Koo, I don't know I've never seen that before in my life. He just kicked the ground and missed the ball by 2 feet. I guess you don't get docked for a missed field goal on that. So maybe he just knew he was going to miss it, so he just said, you know what? Gillen, you take a sack. So they got like plus 17 points, especially the same thing happened in the Panthers game earlier this season. So yeah, they benefited from an easy schedule. I mean, I think ultimately, I mean, if you look, it's pretty funny if you look from like, for example, from a DVOA perspective, which adjusts for opponent, the Patriots are like 14th and 14th, 15th, somewhere around there, like a league average team. The Bears, who are the other one seed, are like 18th, 19th, slightly below league average team. Those are the two one seeds in the NFL. So you can't judge everything by wins and losses. I think the market, it's kind of where similar to where I have the Patriots. They're like a plus two, the Patriots. So they're like a, I don't know, like a 2 point favorite over an average team on a neutral field. So yeah, they're a couple points better than an average team. Um, do I trust them? I mean, here's the thing. They've had an easy schedule. They've been really healthy. Now they're starting to finally deal with some injuries. So we'll see how that plays out. The good news is they have a bye coming up, so they survived up until their bye week. I think they probably lose to the Bills, but it's a coin flipish game. Probably lose at Baltimore, but all they have to do is beat the Jets and Dolphins. No matter what else happens, they win the division. And obviously they have their sights set on the one seed as well. But look, they're well coached. If they get healthy, their run defense is good. Their defense still has some holes. Their offensive line still isn't great. It's not the most talented team, as Kendra alluded to. But Drake May, I mean, I'm a believer in Drake May. I think most people are. He's starting to establish himself as one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL. His deep ball is a weapon. I mean, his placement of the deep ball can flip a game, no matter who he's playing. So, and if you look at the AFC right now, you say like, do you trust the Patriots? I mean, who are you like? Yeah, this is the team I trust. I mean, the Chiefs are not even favored to make the playoffs. We'll see if the Ravens make it. The Bills have flaws. I mean, but like the other AFC teams right now, the Jags, the Colts, uh, the Broncos, like this isn't a murderer's row. This isn't the AFC of 2 years ago. So can the Patriots make a run? Sure. I mean, get in the AFC and you can make a run.
And
So
that's
yeah,
why
they're about as good as their record, but they're a good football team.
they're favored right now to make it out of the AFC at plus 400 on DraftKings. They're either going to end up with the 1 or the 2 seed, the way that things are looking right now. If they were the 2 seed, they probably end up taking on a Buffalo team that they've already shown that they can beat. That's going to be a tough matchup for them in a playoff scenario because of what I'm talking about. How much will you actually trust Drake May and this team that doesn't feel like they're as good as their record? But here's the thing, that path that you talk about, let's say they end up as the 1 seed and you get a 3-6 matchup, Colts, Jags, Colts knock off Jacksonville. Now all of a sudden you're into round 2 already with your bye, taking on a Colts team that also isn't very trustworthy. So the path to the AFC Championship game,
Which
just
could be
depending on
which
who
could
they
be
end up
Bo
with.
Nix and Denver waiting for you, which isn't that scary. But yeah, you bring up a good point. The thing that is one of the two biggest wild cards about, and it's in related to the wild card. But do the Chiefs end up making it? So Chiefs Texans, huge game, because then if you like, and then do the Patriots get the 1 or the 2? So the Patriots have their bye, then a couple tough games. Because if you get that 2, and you end up getting either Buffalo or Kansas City,
Or
that's
Baltimore.
that's a brutal draw. Well, Baltimore only can really get in if they win the division, so they'll be a 4.
Eh.
They're favored to win the division, so they'll be a 4 seed. And as a Ravens fan, I bet the Ravens 23 to 1 to win the Super Bowl when they bottomed out before Lamar came back. Lamar needs to get healthy. I need to see it from him first. But the good news with the Ravens, if they're that 4 seed, right? Like you win that first game, you're going to Denver, which I don't think anyone's really that scared of. As far as like who 1 seeds could be, or you're going to New England, right? It's not they're not the scariest. The potential 1 seeds in the NFC aren't the scariest. But where does Buffalo end up? Does Buffalo end up as the 5, the 6, the 7? Does Kansas City get in? So a lot to shake out in the AFC. But if this ends up with, and look, the Bills aren't a guarantee to get in. But and either of the Ravens. Can you imagine an AFC playoffs? It's possible without Allen, Lamar, Mahomes, and Burrow. I mean, there is a possibility that happens.
It's possible, but there's no way that all 4 of them miss the
No,
playoffs.
I don't think it happens, but it's pretty like
It would
the
be
Chiefs are favored not to
awesome.
make it right now.
We would
And
talk about this for the rest of eternity as people who love football. Truly, we would talk about this year in particular forever.
Yeah, it would be one of those years where reshapes the way that we talk about seasons prior to them starting. Go, well, just because you have one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, no longer a guarantee that you're going to make it to the playoffs or make a deep run. I think it would change the way that we view the futures market. Plus
Jag Super
400.
Bowl.
Yeah, but I mean, anything's possible at this point. I did take a
I
stab on Patriots Rams exacta matchup
Please don't
prior
make
to
us
Monday
watch that
night.
Super Bowl again.
Well, that's the thing. I sort of had this daydream of like we're gonna end up sitting there on Super Bowl Sunday, going, "Really, again? We've got the Patriots and the Rams. Like, can we get away from this matchup? This will be the third time in my life we've seen that. But is
I was
that
in college here when that happened. I have pictures of like the downtown of my campus after the Patriots won the Super Bowl and how insane it was. It was absolutely like nuts up here anytime anybody would win a championship.
plus 400? You willing to take a stab before we move on, Kendra, on
No,
the Patriots to make
No.
it?
absolutely not.
Okay. The Eagles offensive coordinator, his house got egged after the loss to the Bears. Highest salaried offense in the NFL, ranks 24th in yards, 23rd in passing, 22nd in rushing, 19th in scoring. But still, guys, eggs in this economy, we have to find a cheaper item to ruin people's houses with.
I know it. I've done it. You fork somebody's house. You buy 1,000 plastic forks at the dollar store for $4 and you go and stick forks all over someone's yard. And then the joke is that they just have to go out there and pick them up. And that's annoying.
Way more
Did you guys do
efficient.
Mischief Night the night before Halloween when you were growing up?
No, what the hell?
You didn't do that? Oh my God, one of the
No.
most fun nights.
You had
So
shitty friends, didn't you?
this might be like a tri-state area thing or maybe just a Delco thing, um, outside of Philly. But Mischief Night, um, I think that is our producers or is Evan here today?
Yeah.
Evan, did you have this in New York? Did you
I
guys
don't
have
know.
this where you're from?
Let me throw.
Mischief Night? Do you know what that
He
is?
said not really.
It's a New Jersey thing. Well, it's a Pennsylvania thing too. So yeah, we the night before Halloween, so October 30th, every night, you would go out and you would just terrorize neighborhoods. And so we would have book bags full of eggs and then duffel bags full of toilet paper. And then we would just we would go out for like 4 or 5 hours. We would just go neighborhood to neighborhood and we just egg houses and then cover the trees, people's trees and bushes in toilet paper. The next morning, hilarious, like just walking around and seeing all the houses covered in toilet paper. So I'm not surprised that this happened in Philly because that is a thing. But
That
yeah,
is so nuts.
eggs are when you're really little, you used to when you were too little to like really cause trouble, um, you would just we would just ding dong ditch when you were like in like fourth, fifth grade, and that was always fun. You would like think that someone's gonna come out and murder you when you were like running and hiding. Um, but yeah, the Eagles need. I don't even know what the question was, but the Eagles' offense is
It
every
really wasn't
week.
a
It's
question. It was more of a statement on the price of eggs more than anything else.
Yeah.
yeah, the Eagles' offense is broken. It's, I mean, think about it. The Bears had no linebackers in that game. All of their linebackers were hurt, and it's not a very good defense. Their secondary is getting healthier. But they still couldn't run the ball. They still went a whole half without doing anything. This happens every week. I mean, we're in week 14 now. You are who you are at this point. Like, especially when there's just no signs. You get like you've had like a couple little sparks. It's like, oh, the second half against the Rams. Like, where else has this offense done much? Every week it's the same thing. I don't think that the Eagles are a serious contender this year with their offense until I see it consistently fixed. And until I do, that's my opinion on the Eagles.
I think that the Rams and the Ravens probably just have played way too many playoff games. Like they're exhausted. I think that we're probably just seeing like a dip of the exhaustion
It's
between all of
probably
them.
not a coincidence that all of those teams feel like they look the same on paper and then they're not the same when you watch them.
Yeah, I mean, the Eagles, the coordinator was a big deal. It was one of the things I was worried, a lot of people were worried about coming into the year. I mean, we saw this a couple years ago with the Eagles offense under Brian Johnson. The offensive line also isn't as good. Lane Johnson's been hurt. They've had a number of guys who have been hurt. I think they missed Becton in the interior so that the run game just isn't as good. The defense now is trending up, although they just got that Bears rushing offense right now is on another level. Ben Johnson has that humming, but I still think the defense will be fine for the Eagles. But the offense, like you're not going to win. You're not going. So what the Eagles have to do, because of their flawed offense, is their best path. Because I just can't see them winning like 4 playoff games, um, with that offense going into hibernation for a whole half. So what they have to do is I think what gives them the best chance. They're gonna have to find some solutions, but they got to get the 1 seed. And losing to the Bears didn't help. They do have the tiebreaker over the Rams, but now they're one back of the Rams and the Bears. But you get that 1 seed, you get to skip a playoff game, you just win 2 home games, get to the Super Bowl. Obviously, anything can happen in the Super Bowl, but that loss to the Bears was detrimental for many reasons because I do think that the Eagles really need that 1 seed.
And they've got landmines everywhere in the NFC. This is not
Because
the
you don't get the 2 seed. Like you could get the Packers or the Seahawks or
Yeah.
the Niners, the Rams, the line like
Stuckey
the
just got so passionate he had to sit up out of his chair and cross his
but
legs.
think of like the NFC is not the AFC.
Yeah.
The NFC
The
is
NFC
now
will do
like
that to people, Kendra.
Yeah. Hey.
the NFC now is like what the AFC used to be. Like there's no now granted we just talked about the AFC could have some of those top teams sneak in to get to 6 or 7, but you're not getting a free pass in the first round of the NFC playoffs. That wild card weekend is going to be crazy.
So,
Especially because the sad cats, baby.
Oh yeah, I think the Panthers look like they might make the playoffs. Who knows? The Bucks could be one of those 2 teams will end up being out. I doubt they both get in.
Yeah, they both play each other again twice, so they
2 times, right?
Yeah, I think that they end the season with each other, and then like 2 weeks before that.
While we're on the Eagles for a moment, and we've got Thursday Night Football preview coming up, our Plant the Flag game, Evans Primer, still a lot to get to here on the episode. Justin Herbert is day to day after getting surgery on his hand. Kind of feels like the odds makers are playing the middle with this line. The Eagles are 2.5-point road favorites here. Stuckey, is that how you see it as far as the way the line is set right now? Hard to put any action on this game until we know what's going on with Herbert.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's going to play, but there obviously is some uncertainty. What's the ball security going to be like? Um, he obviously just is a higher injury risk. Like if something happens to it and he has to come out, and then you get Trey Lance. I'm assuming you'll see Trey
Lance
Lance.
looked good in the preseason.
I'm assuming you'll get Trey
like
Lance in goal line packages when some goal line packages, some goal line looks. But yeah, I mean, I would assume that if Herbert, I mean, I'll tell you what I make it. If Herbert was in and like there was no questions, I mean, I think that this game would be like, remember the Chargers don't have much of a home field. Like there might be more Eagles fans. I don't know, even though it's across the country. Um, yeah, I mean, I think that this line would be like 1 with a healthy Herbert. At least
+1,
that's what I make it.
+1 Chargers.
Yeah, probably Eagles -1-ish. The biggest, like, can the Eagles defensive line, this is the biggest concern if you're betting the Chargers, and then why the hand becomes a bigger issue because you're behind a much maligned offensive line that's completely broken. And then you have a hand injury. Now, granted, it's not your throwing hand, but now you're going up against the Eagles defensive line. That could be really problematic. But it's hard for me to not see the Eagles offense not going into complete hibernation for at least a half against a very game Chargers defense. And it doesn't even matter who the defense is. Like the Cowboys defense, I know they're trending up, but the Eagles just didn't score for a whole half. The Bears defense, they just didn't score for a whole half. It doesn't matter who they play. And the Chargers defense is better than those teams. So, yeah, I think that this is a little bit of a hedge from odds makers because there definitely is some uncertainty, but I do expect him to play, but we'll see.
Some more great analysis from the favorites coming your way momentarily. But first, let's kick it over to Kendra Middleton for a word about DraftKings.
The Favorites podcast is sponsored by DraftKings, and in partnership with DraftKings, our listeners can get a great offer. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets. That's right, new customers can turn $5 into $200 if your bet wins, paid instantly in bonus bets. If sports betting is not yet available in your state, don't worry, you can still join in on all the fun with DraftKings daily fantasy sports and have the shot to win cash prizes. To get started, use promo code FAVORITES when signing up. Again, use code FAVORITES when signing up with DraftKings to get on board. The crown is yours.
All right, Kendra, before we get back at it, what's on your mind today?
Okay, I don't know if you guys saw this last night. I took a screenshot of it because a lot of people got by this. There were a couple of these like aggregate accounts and then like some of the troll accounts last night during the game. And one of the bigger ones tweeted hashtag Giants defensive end Abdul Carter will miss the first drive tonight for disciplinary reasons after getting caught watching porn in a team meeting when his headphones disconnected. So many of these like media accounts got by this last night. It was unreal. I don't know if you guys saw this, but I can't stop digging into the tweets of the people who got by this. Like Abdul Carter was watching porn in a team meeting. People.
But then he was benched, and then he said after the game, "No comment happens," which was so funny that these two things happened. That now no one will say why he was suspended or not suspended, but he didn't start. And yeah, that was very funny. Like a troll account tweeted that out.
And the
maybe
amount
it
of
did
people,
happen. Who knows?
Yeah, what would that be the proper response? Disciplinary action? If
probably, like you're watching porn in a team meeting, yeah, you're not going to get suspended for a game, but you probably don't start. It's hard to imagine he was doing that, but yeah, I would imagine.
You guys, I went to college when people would open their laptops and stuff would still be playing because they forgot to close it out. If I had a nickel for every time it happened to me, I would have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice.
Yeah, that is. Always close out your browser, people. It's not hard. There's a big X at the top right of the screen. Just take care of your business.
So that's what's on my mind.
I appreciate that. I did not see that. It is amazing. I feel like you and I live in different sectors of the internet. Every single week, when I talk to Kendra, whether it is on the podcast or off of the podcast,
the Brita Instagram.
What was
I've never had the laptop happen. The closest I came to something like that happening was when I was in like 7th grade.
Oh dear.
7th, 8th
Mama
grade.
Walked in?
No, I was just looking up. I don't know. It was probably porn, like just general porn, or it was probably just like back then. I mean, I'm old.
Google searched big titties.
Yeah, it was. I just know that it was not good, or like I wasn't supposed to be looking. But then because my mom wasn't home yet, and then I fell asleep on the couch, and then I woke up, and my mom was on the computer, and I was like, "Oh, I didn't X out anything," so my mom had to X out, and then luckily she didn't say anything, but it was very awkward. I pretended to sleep for like 4 hours longer because I didn't want to like face her. Yeah, I will never forget that. So I learned my lesson young.
I have a very similar story. I'm not going to bother telling it because it's basically a copy and paste. But yeah, I think every 7th grade
You're getting
boys,
red right now, Kravitz.
It was Pamela Anderson, and it was a printout on the family printer. Okay, and I found it later. I found it later in a different room than where I had it, and it was displayed. Like we got you. And
like
that was
shaming
it.
You, that's
it has never been. This is why my face is this red. This has
Barbed
never
wire.
been discussed.
Incredible
since.
parenting. Oh, I'm gonna. You guys, I'm smiling so hard.
Printing
my
out
cheeks
Pam
hurt.
Anderson pictures is hilarious.
My face hurts.
Yeah, for the younger audience, you guys do not.
Was it color? There's probably not even color.
It wasn't. It was black and white.
Oh, the struggle.
Black and white.
The struggle that kids don't know about these days. Black
this
and white.
Is literal modern day Pamela Anderson happening in an NFL meeting. You guys, that's exactly what you maybe my tinfoil hat is on.
I think the important note here is that kids today do not understand prime Pam Anderson.
In black and white.
We had to work for it back in the day, okay? Kids get everything at the palm of their
Loading
hands.
up.
I do have, when my grandpa died, I was cleaning out his house and my inheritance was a Winston Racing snapback and his vintage porn mags and Full Bush. Those are my coffee table books in my house.
And Battleship, I see.
Yeah. Anyways, so
Lions -3 on Thursday Night Football. They take on the Dallas Cowboys. Total sitting at 54. The two Thanksgiving featured squads squaring off, and it feels like these two are headed in opposite directions. I'm sorry, there was no smooth transition. I'm just ripping the band-aid off. No surprise here. The bets and the money are pouring in on the Dallas Cowboys. They feel like the more fun bets. However, I mean, the trends are still out there for this Lions team. Campbell, Goff, still streaking after a loss. They've won 14 in a row back to 2022, 13-1 ATS in the last 14 after a loss. So this is very much current form Dallas versus trends and basic betting logic on the Lions. And I'm honestly not sure which way to tilt. Kendra, do you have an early lean on this game?
well, yeah, listen, like the Cowboys are fun. I'm a Jerry Jones hater, but they're fun right now. They're even though they killed my bet the other day, like they're entertaining. The thing for me, if the Lions were healthy, I would like the Lions in this spot, but 70% of their offense is on the injury report. So it's hard for me to sit here and pick a side with a team with momentum who got better at the trade deadline. And if it weren't for, some of these silly little things that the Cowboys tend to do, Dak would be having a career year. So it's hard for me to sit here right now on a day where I don't have an injury report in front of me and kind of give like an eloquent take on this. But the Lions are just injured and the Cowboys are finding momentum at a good time. I will probably circle back to this game once this injury report is finalized. But right now, I can't get to the window on either side.
Trends or momentum? Which side do you lean, Stuckey?
Yeah, I mean, these Lions trends, I've been saying for the month, like, put them to bed. This isn't the same Lions team. Like, yeah, I mean, they won after a loss against the Eagles, but they should have lost to the Giants at home and didn't come close to covering. And they didn't cover at home against the Packers. And that's two straight games at home they haven't covered. Usually this team, and they haven't covered three in a row. This team is a covering wagon. What's wrong? Well, the offensive line is not the same. They have tons of injuries on offense. They have injuries on the back end of the defense. The play calling isn't the same. Look at what Ben Johnson's doing with Chicago. That's not happening in Detroit. This is not the same Lions team. And, uh, like, and Kendra's right. Like, well, here's the thing. These two teams are heading in opposite directions. Like the Cowboys offense is electric. I mean, Pickens has been incredible. Jack's playing at an MVP level. That Clayton Adams hire was amazing. Like their run game has been a good complementary piece when no one, including myself, thought that was going to be the case. But you got Lamb, Ferguson, Dak, Pickens. That offense is going to score on anybody. And then it's a defense that's trending up because, you added Quinn Williams. You got a bunch of other pieces in the secondary and at linebacker back healthy. So the run defense is now formidable and they can get pressure. Now the pass defense still has some holes and some questions, but are the Lions gonna be able to take advantage, like throwing to like what Tom Kennedy? I mean, Sam Laporta is a big loss. Their offensive line has tons of injuries.
Respect Isaac Tesla.
Yeah, but they have, I mean, that Brock Wright, their backup tight end, is now probably out. Is Amon-Ra going to play? I don't know. That's huge. So here's the thing. These two teams are headed in opposite directions. Like, I don't think the Lions are going to make the playoffs. I think this game's an elimination game. Every game, the Cowboys need, because they set themselves so far behind, like almost every game for the Cowboys is a must win. If the Lions lose this game, they drop to 7-6, a place you don't want to be in the NFC. And they go to the Rams next. And, they go to Chicago to close the year. They go to Minnesota, but they already lost to the Vikings. Not an easy place to play. I think they're done if they lose this game. But a lot of injuries. But here's the thing. The look-ahead line, which it's not the most efficient market, but it gives you a general read of where the market is on some of these teams, was 6.5. So this is a big adjustment down. Now we're talking 3. I think it's the correct adjustment, but I wouldn't be running to bet the Cowboys at 3. But I'm also not betting the lines. Like I just think 3 is the right line here.
it would be so NFC East for the Cowboys to have this, progress made at this point in the season, and the Eagles really hit that point of regression, and the Cowboys win this division because of how hard it is to continue to win in the NFC East. So maybe that's the play, is whatever the Cowboys are at to win the
I think they're like
division.
600+600.
Yeah, like maybe that's the play here, truly.
They do feel like the best team in the division at the moment. If
Yeah.
this were to tick down, though, say money continues to pour in on Dallas, we get Lions -2.5. With that 3 being as key as it is, would that be enough to make you want to buy in on Detroit?
Possibly. Depends on the injury report.
It's
The
not going
Lions
to be
injuries
pretty,
are
most likely. The fact that Frank Ragnow tried to come out of retirement on this offensive line, and they were like, "Nah, you can't." That's a problem.
That's so sad, though. Like,
Yeah.
imagine.
He was like, "I want to come and save you," and then didn't pass the physical. Time now
I just thought the Lions game's right now, like a Lions at 3 in a shootout game. I mean, you know what this is going to come down to. In the last 2 weeks, it hasn't worked out for Degenerate Dan. He's what they're like, oh, I don't know. They went 0 of 2
fourth
on
down
fourth downs
regression
against
is
the
hitting them
Packers.
hard.
They went 0 of 5 on fourth downs against the Eagles. So yeah, you know that Degenerate Dan. Yeah, so they're 0 of 7 on fourth downs over their past 3 games. Um, Degenerate Dan's going to be going on fourth down, and in a game, the Lions are going to be able to put up points on the Cowboys' offense, and the Cowboys are going to be able to score. They can score on anybody. So how's this game probably going to be decided? A couple Lions fourth downs.
Brandon Aubrey. Time to plant our flag, presented by DraftKings. The crown is yours. I'll get us started. I'm going to go with the Baltimore Ravens -5.5 against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think the lore around this rivalry is helping to drive the price down. The fact that the Ravens got dusted last week against Cincinnati, that helps to keep the price down. But it's not like Pittsburgh's been all that good either. They got blown out by Buffalo. They've lost 3 of their last 4, 5 of the last 7. And the tides, they may be shifting in this matchup as well. Last 2 meetings between the Ravens and the Steelers have not been close games. Ravens by 14, Ravens by 17. I'll take the Ravens now before this ticks back up to 6. Still 6 at DraftKings. 5.5 if you can get it, but I like the Ravens in this matchup.
Does it not feel like one of these weird games that the Steelers win, though, to you? Like, coming off a loss, the whole like Mike Tomlin argument in division. I get, you just gave like the stats of the scores of the last couple matchups, but like this just feels weirdly like a Steelers spot of a game that they win when they shouldn't.
I kind of feel the same way about the Steelers that Stuckey does about the current iteration of the Lions. I feel like all of these trends and the rah-rah Tomlin stuff, that all of that feels passe at this point. This doesn't feel like the same organization because they don't bring it the same way defensively. That used to be, hey, at any point, if they're at a low, they just lean on defense and they're
running the ball. That was the Steelers' identity.
Spreads,
yeah.
And they can't do that right now.
Yeah, that's fair.
My concern, I don't know if Evan has this in his primer, but I do think that when these teams when Tomlin and Harbaugh have met over the past 17 years, I do think that when either is an underdog of 3 or more points, it's like 18-1-3 against the spread. It's insane. I think I think it's like 90%. And the amount of games that have been decided by 3 points is insane. But you're right. The Steelers defense is not the same. I mean, the Bills ran the same running play 27 plays, 27 times last week, and the Steelers couldn't stop it. They have injuries on defense. Aaron Rodgers having to go out of the pistol with his hurt hand. The offense is just dysfunctional. Aaron Rodgers has been, over the past 4 weeks, has been the worst quarterback in the NFL statistically. If you look at EPA plus completion percentage over expectation, he's worse than Shador, Gabriel, dead last. The offense is not working right now. But neither is the Ravens offense. Like, Lamar doesn't have the same burst. There's hope for the Ravens. Like, I don't see hope for the Steelers. It's just, how is this going to get fixed? The receivers can't get separation. Rodgers is hurt. Now, once you, like, if Lamar, like, if that burst comes back. Now, the Steelers have done a really good job against Lamar Jackson historically. They usually have a really good game plan. But this is a game where the Ravens can just line up and run it. Are the Steelers, like, what can the Steelers, that's all the Bills did. The Bills run the same 2 plays the entire game and set a stadium record. But I do get the heebie-jeebies when it comes to wanting, because I want to lay it with the Ravens here too. but I've just seen so many Ravens uh Steelers games that all end up three no matter what. Like it'll be 13-10 somehow. Um Overall, since 2005, the underdog in this series is 29-12-3 against the spread, 71%. When the line is three or more points, the underdog is 23-5-3 against
I
the spread, which
just
is silly. But
it
yeah, you're
it is
right.
very, very much so.
Might
A
not
lot
apply,
of
but it
that has
also might
bet.
not apply to the Ravens. Like the Ravens offense right now is also broken.
They have not looked good. I think the word hope that you laid out is part of the reason why I am on Baltimore here. I have faith that they can bounce back. I don't feel the same way about Pittsburgh. And 2000, go back to 2005. We're talking about Ben Roethlisberger, one of the greatest quarterbacks I've ever seen play the game. Some elite defenses. I think that we're getting caught up in the logos here. This line should be closer to 7, in my opinion. Kendra, what about you? Plant the flag.
I'm going to plant my flag on the Bengals. When I saw this number at +6, I was absolutely shook, didn't believe it. I thought our website was off. It is not. We've seen what Joe Burrow can do when he's coming from behind. He plays with a vengeance. I think that he probably should have been even more considered for MVP last year, considering how much time he, missed and came back and just played like an insane person. Kind of doing the same thing right now. The injury reports as well, so far for me, have been a little concerning for Buffalo. So I really like this number. And the thing is, the Bengals, they get their schedule gets easier. They have the Bills this week and they have the Ravens this week, and then they finish out with the Dolphins, Cardinals, and Browns. I think that if they can find a way to stay healthy through these, gauntlet of these couple games, especially the next Ravens game, they might be on a little bit of a tear. So I'm gonna go with the Bengals.
T. Higgins coming back as well as an underdog. Joe Burrow, 20-11 against the spread. If it's a dog of 3 or more, he is 18-3 ATS. Going to be cold at kickoff. So I think a lot of people are going to look to back a home team Buffalo squad that looks really strong right now in wintry, cold weather. But
They
Burrow
both play
plays
in the
well in
cold
that.
though.
Well,
So like it
I think Burrow plays well. We've seen him go into Buffalo in the playoffs and get a win against this Bills team. So I like that. I was looking the way of the Bengals myself. Stuckey, your read on that and your plant the flag.
Watching some injuries there. I mean, I don't think the Bills will be able. The Bengals defense is really bad too. I don't think that they'll be able to run the same two plays like they did last week, but who knows? The Bengals offense is obviously much more efficient, explosive. The Bengals run game also, and some of their run concepts can give Buffalo issues. This is a huge game for Cincy. If the Bengals can win this game, I mean, they're live for the division. Because they get to host the Ravens. The Ravens and Steelers play each other twice. So if they split, right, and then you look at the rest of the Bengals schedule, as Kendra mentioned, it's they host the Ravens and it's Dolphins, Cardinals, Browns. But if they lose this game, probably done because again, the Ravens and Steelers play each other. So this is an enormous game for the Bengals.
There's a
I'm
lot
telling
of
you.
big games this week, to be
Huge.
honest.
Yeah, a lot of big hits. Like I mentioned, the Chargers
Houston,
Eagles game is huge. Like Eagles, they want that one seed. They're probably gonna have to win this. If not, like in Dallas wins, this is the division in question. The Chargers have a brutal schedule after this.
it's
They
Texans
might
Chiefs
need
too.
this game.
That
Chiefs
game's an
Texans, I think,
eliminate.
is elimination.
That's an elimination game. I agree with you.
Yeah,
Absolutely an
Jags.
elimination
We haven't even
game.
mentioned the Jags Colts. This is a Jags
Jags Colts in
Yeah,
podcast.
first
it's
place.
a massive weekend, dude.
Monday night, they put on the Monday night graphic, they put race for the one seed. They put in the AFC, they put Broncos, Patriots, and Colts. I was like,
Patriots
what
are
the hell
off
is
this
this?
week too. Like
Jags are in first place with an easier schedule. They put the Colts up there, the Pumpkin Joe.
nobody's talking about the Jags. I'll bitch about that for eternity. Everyone's like, Denver, Houston, Indianapolis, all this stuff. I'm like, the Jags lead the division and you guys won't even give them their flowers. Like, don't get me wrong. I don't believe in this team going anywhere either.
You're not
But
talking
like,
about the Jags either. You're
hell
one to
no,
talk.
hell no. No, that team is
This is a
like,
Jags
This is your
podcast, except
burden
for
to
the Jags
bear.
fan.
yeah, let me fall on this sword however I choose, okay? I've been going through this crap for far too long.
Jags Super Bowl. I'm planting my
I
flag
will,
on
if the
Jags.
Jags win
Jags
the
Super
Super
Bowl
Bowl this
future.
year, I will get the Lombardi trophy tattooed on my left ass cheek.
All right. We'll have
You
to
heard it
trust
here
that you get
first.
it.
Jags futures, you said. We're writing that one in.
That's what I'm
No,
playing my
I'm
flag
dead ass. I will get the Lombardi trophy on my left ass cheek. I have a huge, like, yeah, yeah.
on. No, plant my flag. I'll plant my flag on. I'm gonna go with the Falcons plus 7.5 uh, against the Falcons. Excuse me, against the Seahawks at home. I think number one, this is a it's a sell high of the Seahawks. I mean they're 9-3 against the spread. We're at the peak of the market on them. You look, you look back last week. That game was 3-0 at the end of the first half. And Brosmer played one of the worst quarterback games of all time.
My
JSN was
king.
shut down, completely shut down. They were using like they and the Vikings and the Falcons, very zone heavy teams that can get pressure, that blitz. Seahawks have some offensive line injuries. Darnold very quietly has been very poor over the past month,
Yeah, he
and
has.
I think that they
I mean,
miss.
quietly, did he throw like 5 interceptions
He
two
threw
weeks
four
ago?
picks versus the Rams, but he hasn't been great in other games where they just. And look, the last 2 weeks they played Cam Ward and the Titans, and then they Brosmer and the Vikings. And the Falcons, look, the Falcons aren't great, but this is a team that last week they dominated the Jets. Like they should have won that game. Like statistically, they got beat on special teams. Like they had a fumble, they had muffed a punt at the 5. Like statistically, they were way better. The Falcons are 1-4 over their past 5 games. With 1 second to go in regulation, they trailed once, and it was by 1 point at the Patriots. That's it. They lost in overtime to the Colts. Easily could have won that game on a neutral field. Blew a big lead against the Panthers. Lost in overtime. Lost a game that they should have won at New York. Lost on a 52-yard walk-off field goal, and then beat the Saints. I mean, they're 1-4 of the past 5 games. They're with a positive scoring differential. They've only trailed once by 1 point at New England with 1 second to go in regulation. There's a decent chance Drake London comes back. Kirk Cousins has looked better the past 2 weeks. The Falcons' numbers aren't great versus heavy personnel, which they'll see a lot of against Seattle. But if you filter out with and without Devon Diablo, it's like a 3 yard difference. He makes a huge difference against the run. Seahawks aren't a great rushing team efficiency wise. That's how you really want to attack the Falcons. And here's who I think they really miss is my guy Torrey Horton, because a lot of times they just have 2 receivers out there and they're not. Shahid's only playing like 30, 40, 50%. He's done nothing. What is Shahid? Shahid has like 7 catches in 4 games. He's supposed to be like this piece, and now it's like Cooper Cup, the corpse of Cooper Cup, and then JSN. And now I think the teams saw what the Vikings did last week. A lot of help over the top, more cloud coverages to kind of take away JSN. And the Falcons generally do a good job of taking away explosive pass plays. I just think this line is too high. I think the Falcons will be in this game at home. So give me over a touchdown with Atlanta.
A gross
But
Falcons dog bet after losing to the Jets. This is very
you
on
want to
brand
bet the
for you.
Jags I mean the Falcons as dogs. You don't never want to bet them as favorites. Like this is going on for years. And for what it's worth, the just like I love fading teams off of like shutout wins. This isn't gospel, but road teams off of a home shutout, right? So like this, oh look at this team. They just won 26-0. Road teams off a home shutout over the past 25 years, 17-35-1 against the spread, 32.7%. So yeah, and the Falcons lost the game they should have won last week. Seahawks benefited from facing Brosmer. Darnold kind of trending down a bit. The defenses have tape on this offense, or they're adjusting a bit better. So yeah, I'll take the 7. I think this line's too high.
Our Plant the Flag games presented by DraftKings. The crown is yours. Kendra is on the Bengals +6. Stuckey on the Falcons +7.5. And I will lay it with the Baltimore Ravens -5.5. Evan Abrams, bring us home. The primer is popping this week over at actionnetwork.com. Evan, what are the trends that we need to be aware of before we go firing away on the apps?
Yeah, so Tuesday morning we're recording here. Primer is now live on the site, so check it out with all the great games for this weekend. I think the biggest really topic of conversation across the league, and you hear it across almost every show, is just a parity in the league. So I took a look at it, and entering week 14, we currently have 17 teams listed below 50 to 1 odds to win the Super Bowl. That would be the most for any season dating back to at least 2010. The previous high was 15 teams in 2017. So 17 teams currently under 50 to 1. Seems like a lot. It is. Also, 12 teams, at least 4 games above 500 right now, tied for the most in NFL history. So right now, absolutely anybody can win the Super Bowl. You've heard it everywhere, and the odds kind of tell you that. I feel like the other story, you look at the board and you say Tennessee, Cleveland, 33.5. Seems like a fun topic to talk about. But listen, since it started 2010, be the third lowest total in an outdoor game in freezing temperatures. So we do not see this a lot. 32.5 Saints Browns in 2022. And of course, the infamous lowest total in NFL history, 28.5 Jets Patriots in 2023. So 2 rookies and a low total. Can't wait.
And 2 rookies where there was a lot of debate about these two leading up to draft season. Of course, Cam Ward really started to separate himself as we got closer to April, wound up being the number 1 overall pick, and Shedeur Sanders, a shock to us all, drops to the 5th round. But that game going to be nice and disgusting. And it looks like the Browns are taking money too. They were -3.5 when we started recording. They're -4.5 now against the Tennessee Titans. Could you imagine sitting there on Sunday, laying it with the Cleveland Browns? And it might not be a bad idea. I don't think I'm going to do
Evan,
it.
when's the last time we had a total under 33?
Last year. Under 33 would be that 32.5 game, I believe. Cleveland and Miami. Or no, Saints Browns 2022.
Have we man, what's the updated wind forecast for that?
It's honestly not that bad. I only see like 10, 11 miles an hour. It's just supposed to be.
So this might have been like, this total could, if there was like 30-mile-an-hour winds, this total could have been like 29.5.
I mean, it's not often stuck. You see the look ahead at 35.5. Like usually weather takes it
weather
down
will
to
drive
this
it down.
range. It started super low. So I think it really depends how the week goes.
There was some games in like the mid 2000s. I don't know if you have this up. If you want to like pull up on Action Labs the like the lowest totals we've ever had, but they're like the Bears, like the mid 2000s Bears teams that were like dominant defensively with horrendous quarterback play, and then when they would have a really windy game, I think there might have been a total that was like 29.5.
I mean, yeah, there's been, 28.5 is the record. We saw that with the snow crazy game with New England and the Jets. There is a ton of 2005, 2004 Bears, like 30s.
Ravens, maybe?
Yeah, 30, 31.5, 30.5. It's usually Bears at home and Browns at home is where you get the lowest totals in NFL history.
Yeah, with the wind. But yeah, those Bears teams, I think I remember a 29.5 one. There was that Bears 49ers. I don't know what the total was, but the Chris Berman on the on when he whoop and the ball goes, they try to kick a field goal and it goes and it literally goes 30 yards right in the wind. Do you remember anyone know what I'm talking about?
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, I believe it's Bears Niners 2005. Total was 30, 17-9 final.
And there was
right.
Nathan Vasher had a 108-yard kick missed field goal return at the end of the half. And it still went under. Here, ready? This is
This is pregame warm-ups for the game between the Bears and the 49ers. Watch this field goal attempt by Robbie Solid Gould to the Bears. You think it's windy? Understatement of the year. And the kick is up, it's on the way, and it's no good. Man. And there it goes. He had no shot. Joe Nedney for the Niners.
It went out of the end zone.
There will never be another.
Yeah, NFL primetime back in the day is best. It's still on, but I used to watch that every night after the NFL games. But yeah, so that was 30, you said, Evan?
Yeah.
Amazing.
All right, Evan, we'll let you go back to your lair. Thank you so much. Go and check it out, actionnetwork.com or on the Action Network app. That's going to do it for today's episode. Special thanks to our producers, David Payne and Gifford Gould. The favorites will return on Thursday right here on the Action Network YouTube page. We talk week 14 best bets, lay it all on the line. 2 kings and a queen parlay. We'll see you next time right here on the favorites presented by DraftKings. We're out.